Hi there. Greetings, salutations. I got to do this right into the microphone, right, Derek? Why are you sitting there stoically frozen?
This is my favorite sports week of the year. I am frozen with excitement,
Okay.
with intrigue, with pleasure, happiness, all of it.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
I am so excited to do today's show.
I mean, in NFL free agency and Colts third-round draft pick prognostications. I mean, who doesn't love it?
Okay, see, you're being sarcastic now. You are not going to ruin my day. I got my loose shirt on. We have a ton of food in the studio today, and
Just
we're
out
going
of
to talk
curiosity.
March Madness.
So we are wearing our Lou Malnati's T-shirts today because we are inside the Lou Malnati's studio, and apparently, thanks to Derek, complaining and emailing and
No complaining.
harassing.
No harassment.
The good folks at Lou's, we're going to be out there cutting a ribbon a week from today, right?
Yep.
Hopefully my nose heals by then. That's a sunburn that then peeled, and now there's dried blood on my nose, and everybody thinks I got in a fight. And I always say, you got to see the other guy.
Got into meth or something, started picking at your face.
That's it too. Yeah. But the T-shirts, innie and outie. Now I'm kind of an outie, but I'm kind of an innie too. So basically, what this means is on a pizza, and we just had here inside the studio Lou Malnati's thin crust pizza, and it is.
We're going to bring
fabulous.
some more out this segment.
We are?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because it was.
Well, where'd it go? Did you eat it all?
I think Rake took it.
Okay. Well, we're going to have some more of it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you like the outer pieces that have the crust on it,
Yep.
or the inner, which has the high amount of toppings?
I'm an in guy. In guy. In crowd,
What about your belly button?
like in high school, it is a innie.
Okay.
Yeah. Outies creep me out on belly buttons. Are you an innie outie person? Outie's weird.
I'm an innie.
Okay. Yeah. Don't you agree? Outie belly button's kind of weird looking.
I mean-
Like you're at the pool and you see somebody with an outie and you're like,
So if Halle Berry
kinda
had an Audi, it'd bother you?
that's maybe the lone exception.
that.
That's maybe the lone one. Yeah. There's the big box, the XL.
Do
From our friends at
hopefully
Lou
we have the
Malnati's.
before shot
Look at
on what the pizza looks like, because
I think we took some B-roll before we started eating the whole thing, the entire crew.
look at that.
But we had the Lou's there with
Unbelievable.
the tomato, the spinach, a little bit of cheddar, a little bit of regular
it's
cheese, the butter
fabulous.
crust, delicious. Thin crust at Lou Malnati. So whether you're innie or outie, we're going to talk more about it, but order.loumalnatis.com, and we've got some more exciting stuff to talk about later on.
What better time to eat Lou Malnati's pizza than to have it delivered to the house on Thursday or Friday, because the NCAA tournament is here, Derek. What we know is that Indiana and Purdue both playing on Friday night. Purdue's going to play at 6:30, that game on TNT. Indiana playing in the late game, 9:50, 10 o'clock-ish on TBS.
Is it just me,
Maybe
or
those two
is
are
IU always the late game? I feel like IU always plays their first-round game in
I-
Sacramento, and it's at 10:30.
That's fine. I
Eastern
remember there were a couple of years there, Derek, when I was in college, where Indiana was Indiana Cleveland State in '86.
Yeah, that's right. That was a
It,
noon game, right?
Started
Yeah.
the tournament,
Yeah.
and Indiana gets beat, and you're like, oh my gosh,
The tournament's already
it's
over.
over. It's over.
It lasted 2 hours.
Right. But it's exciting, and here's the thing for this year's NCAA tournament draw. Your 4 number 1 seeds, obviously, are Houston, Kansas, Purdue, and who's the 4th?
Alabama.
Alabama, the number 1 overall seed. Derek, this is as wide open a year as I can ever recall.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas, for example, and I'm a little miffed as to why Kansas is, a lot of people thought they were going to get the number 1 overall.
They have a ton of great wins.
They do, but
They've
they
lost
also
a bunch.
They also lost. They have 7 losses. All of them are by double digits.
Yeah.
When they lose, they get
They get
blown
beat.
out of the building.
This is the kind of year where if you really wanted to get cute and not put a 1 in your Final Four, you could do it and justify it. You could justify it, not having a 1 in your Final Four this year. If you were to ask me, Jake, just kind of eyeballing it, how many 1 seeds make the Final Four and put an over-under, I'd put it at 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, remember those years, I remember the late 2000s, we had a couple of really crappy tournaments.
I'm filling mine out still.
08 and 09 specifically jump out to me. 08 was the one that had all 4 1s, and 09, I think the Sweet 16 in 09 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 12. And the 12 was Arizona, if I remember right, because their regional was here in Indianapolis. It was all chalk. It wasn't any fun. There was no intrigue. And this year, I think you're just going to get crazy stuff. So, glass half full for Purdue, people are saying, well, Purdue's not a championship caliber team. You don't have to be a championship caliber team to win it this year.
Yeah, who is, yeah.
Glass half empty, Purdue could lose to the 8-9 winner. Honestly. Purdue could lose to Memphis or Florida Atlantic. They could.
Here's the thing, Derek, and tell me if this makes sense. I've thought about how to word this. between Indiana and Purdue, I feel like Indiana has a higher ceiling. But Purdue is more likely to reach the ceiling than is Indiana. In other words, I think Indiana, because of the way they play and the multiple ways in which they can beat you. Trace Jackson-Davis, we know, is a great player and reliable. So is Zach Edey. But Jalen Hood-Schifino and his emergence and his ability, if he's clicking in the mid-range game, opens up Indiana to the point where I think Indiana has more ways they can beat you. They can beat you in a transition game. They can beat you in a slow-down mid-range game. If it becomes a three-point shooting contest, that's Indiana's challenge. They have shooters. It's a matter of getting them open looks. But Indiana, if they were to get in rhythm and get hot, I think can go really far. Purdue, on the other hand, I think Purdue, once you get deep into the tournament, Elite Eight, rounds, areas in there, I think people are going to be able to defend and press their guards enough that Purdue might hit their ceiling. But Indiana's more likely to get, or Purdue is more likely to get to that ceiling, like a Final Eight, than is Indiana. Indiana has the potential to does that make sense what I'm saying?
Well, Purdue's got when you're a 1 seed, you automatically have a lesser road.
You do, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Indiana, of the two, Indiana is the more likely team to just get hot and get on a tear. But Purdue is the team that is going to be favored in more games going in.
Indiana has a chance to have the two best players on the floor in some of these games.
Correct.
So I think that's an advantage. But I'll say this, Jake. If Indiana's not going to make threes, they've got no chance of making a run. None.
You're right.
You can't just be a 2-point offense and win the championship. You can't do that. Not in today's game.
That's
so
fair.
They're going to have to figure out a way. I think Indiana and Mike Woodson, I think they're too hell-bent on getting the perfect shot. Miller Kopp's got to pull the trigger. If he gets 1 millisecond of daylight, Miller Kopp's got to put it up. It's got to go up right away. He's too good of a shooter.
Right.
You can't be sitting around. You can't Chris Ballard it. You can't be sitting around waiting for the perfect thing to fall into your lap magically. You got to take a shot. And that's what Indiana, I think, is going to have to do. For Purdue, what has encouraged me about their run in Chicago, look, they beat the 9th, 10th, and 13th teams in the Big Ten. So good for Purdue, and it's a great accomplishment. It's only the second time they've ever done it, and they sweep the Big Ten titles. I'm not taking that away. But I'm not encouraged by the wins themselves. What I'm encouraged by is David Jenkins stepping up and scoring, and he's had a very quiet season.
Right.
Trey Kaufman-Renn giving them good minutes
He gave
in
them
the
good
title
minutes,
game.
though, in the title game, yeah.
That's what I'm encouraged by for Purdue, because they're going to need those ancillary pieces to step up. But they got to figure out, we were talking about this before we started taping, they got to figure out Fletcher Loyer. Fletcher Loyer has to contribute something for them to really make a deep run here. And he just looks a little bit broken right now.
I just had a really good point, and now I forget what it was. Don't you hate when
Seems
that
to happen a lot to you.
50.
Seems to happen a lot.
50,
but what a great season, Jake, for, Purdue's going to win 30 games, barring a loss to the 16 seed. They're going to win the Big Ten tournament, and they won the Big Ten regular season.
You made a really good point about this on Twitter.
So many people, I just wanted to get in front of it because I don't want to make it look like I'm moving back the goalposts. So many people want to put everything into a random single elimination tournament. Look, I get March is important. Final Fours and championships, those are important. Purdue fans want that. Everybody wants that. But can't you say at this point that regardless of what happens from here, this has been a resoundingly successful season for Purdue, considering what they were expected to be? I mean, this already is one of their 5 best seasons of the last 50 years, probably?
Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying that?
I mean, you're right in the fact that they did this year everything they were supposed to do last year.
They did everything that last year's team was supposed to do. Yeah, you're right. And guess what? Last year's team has nothing to show for what they did. They didn't win the league. They didn't win the league tournament. And they didn't go anywhere in the NCAAs. They have nothing to show for last year. This team, they could lose the 8-9 game, like I mentioned, and they'd still have those 2 championship trophies to show for.
I know what I was going to say. Do you remember when we were doing the afternoon show together, there were like 2 or 3 years in a row in the tournament where Florida was like a 3 or 4 seed and was like 27-6, and both of us are like, I don't know anything about Florida. Are they good?
Yeah.
They must be, right? I feel like Marquette is this year's Florida. Like they're a 2 seed, they're 28-6, and I'm like, is Marquette good? I have no idea.
I think the only time
Purdue beat them, right?
The only time I really watched Marquette this year was when Purdue beat them like in the 3rd game of the season.
Right.
That was way bad. That was pre-Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah.
When that win aged tremendously. Yeah, it's a funny quirk, isn't it, that I know the selection committee likes to try to avoid rematches for league teams, but Duke and Marquette are both in Purdue's region, and they beat both of those teams in November. Now, Duke and Marquette, especially Duke, are much different teams now than they were then.
Yeah, Duke's starting to play well.
But it's a tough road for Purdue.
Duke a 5?
I thought they'd be a 4.
I know.
It is what it is. Sometimes the committee gets it wrong by 1 or 2.
I saw West Virginia play at maybe it was their best game of the year, playing in Allen Fieldhouse against Kansas.
Yeah.
They look good.
They almost won.
They look good. They're long. Use that term. A lot of people talking about San Diego State, Charleston. There's a lot of intriguing matchups, but it looks wide open to me.
Yeah, and I think you got to like where you sit with Indiana. If you were doing
you want another slice?
A power rankings, yeah, sure, hand it over. If you were doing a power rankings of the regions,
there's only one left.
Is it in any? Sweet.
No.
Oh wait, don't just. I thought you were just going to hand me the box.
Huh?
Okay. Yeah, or you're touching it. Hey. What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? You just offered it to me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You said, "Do you want one?" And I said, "Yes."
There's one left.
Well, whatever. You dropped a tomato off of it. Like I was saying, if you were doing a power rank, that's good. Mm-hmm. Just a tomato is good. I don't want to eat what you already ate. If you're doing a power rankings of all the regions, Midwest would probably be 4th, I think, for most people. With Houston, Texas, I think Xavier is probably the weakest 3. So
I don't know much about Miami.
I don't know much about Miami either. So I think you like where you sit with your Indiana, if you're Indiana. But again, Jake, a lot of times with Indiana, we're skipping steps. We're talking about, if they could only get here, and they never seem to get there. Because it's a lot like the Big Ten tournament. Suddenly they draw Penn State on Saturday, and you're thinking to yourself, oh boy, all Indiana has to do to make the final for the first time in 20-plus years is beat Penn State. And guess what happens? They can't beat Penn State, right? So Indiana is just it's a complete enigma. Nicole Auerbach has Indiana in her Final 4. It's a complete enigma to me. You could do that with Purdue though. Like I said, Purdue could go out the second game. I think you can make a strong case that Purdue wins the whole thing.
How about Houston? Indiana's got a break here because Houston is the 1 seed in their region. Houston's banged up, right? Their best player's hurt. Houston's got to play Auburn potentially in the second round in Birmingham. So I think Auburn could come out of there. And then Indiana's got to play. If Indiana gets past Kent State, who knows, right?
Yeah. I think
it's wide open.
The committee needs to do a better job of avoiding – they're all hell-bent on geography, and they're not using common sense. Common sense would dictate, I don't want a potential 1 seed playing a game in Birmingham against Auburn. Right. It's a lot like – I remember Carmelo Anthony's Syracuse team. You know where's Carmelo Anthony's Syracuse team? They were a 3 seed that year, by the way. Do you know where they played the regional final against Oklahoma?
Syracuse.
Albany. They're the 3 seed, and they're playing a home game in Albany against poor Oklahoma. That's garbage.
Now, Albany's...
You shouldn't do that.
Albany's a host this year, right?
Yeah, they are.
Who's playing in Albany?
IU's playing in Albany. Yeah. Right? And then Purdue's in Columbus, and then hopefully the Garden.
The Indiana is playing in the same stadium or arena as the Albany Firebirds. And I can't remember, Rake would know, did the Albany Firebirds move here or did the Firebirds move to Albany?
They moved to Indiana, right? I knew that because the Indiana Firebirds ceased and then that was it. They didn't move. They closed.
Okay.
Right? If I'm not mistaken there.
Well, I think people in Albany are still bitter about that. Don't try taking a Mayflower truck to Albany. Those people are
Other
bitter.
things to mention, the women's bracket, Indiana, no surprise, the number one seed in one of the Greenville regions. Purdue is in the first 4, so Katie Geralds has the Boilers back into the tournament. First time since 2017, 27th all-time appearance for that great program. And the Ball State women in the WNIT and the Indiana State men in the CBI.
You forgot one.
Who am I missing?
Notre Dame women.
Oh, Notre Dame is its own entity. That's not an Indiana school. Notre Dame is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is Notre Dame, Inc.
They're in Indiana.
Nah. I mean, yeah,
They're
I
coached
guess.
by
technically
Jaden Ivey's mom.
Yeah, okay.
Who played for the Fever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Notre Dame. Yep.
People
Notre
that
Dame.
work at Notre Dame have to pay Indiana taxes.
Okay, yeah, great. It's not in Indiana, Notre Dame is its own thing. That's what I always tell people.
Who's Indiana State playing? You said the CBI?
I have no idea. They're the number 1 seed, though, in the CBI.
That's cool.
So hopefully they are CBI champions. We'll see.
You got to pay to get into that.
You'd
right?
pay to get in. Yeah. Yeah, you have to pay to get in, which sometimes I had to do
like
at
a lot
parties.
like a lot of your kids in AAU.
Well, yeah, the same thing there. Same thing there. Let's get to our friends at Lou's. We already kind of talked about them, but let's talk about them again because we're wearing the shirts and the whole deal. Lou Malnati's Avon grand opening Monday.
Can you pick that up?
We are going to be there.
Derek's picking up the box
You have
for us.
longer arms than me. So
I know, but I've got a bad back.
there you go.
I tweaked something.
Monday from
Probably from the
let me make sure that I have the
show.
hours correct for the Lou Malnati's. 4 to 8 p.m.
Look at that.
If you attend the grand opening in Avon,
There we go.
5 customers are going to enter a drawing where they are going to win pizza for a year. So Lou's Pies
Really?
for a whole year. 5 people. And a custom Lou's t-shirt just like these will be given to the first 100 paying customers. And there's going to be fun games for guests to play throughout the afternoon. Like I said, we'll be there to take pictures, autographs, no personalized greetings, but I'm happy to sign 1 item per person, anything that anybody brings. And we're going to cut the
Derek,
ribbon.
Nobody is going to ask for your autograph.
1 pair of scissors, 1 ribbon, 2 best friends.
By the way, LouMalnati's.com/community to find out how you can read about how they are making positive contributions.
Well, thanks for saying that, because Dine to Donate for Lou Malnati's is going to go to the Catch the Stars Foundation for Tamika. 20% on that Monday.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So not a dine-in location. Only Broad Ripple in Midtown is dine-in. Carry out, delivery, catering.
You're going to confuse people.
On the west side for our friends in Avon.
Broad Ripple, Midtown, or you're saying Broad Ripple?
Broad Ripple in Midtown.
In Midtown.
Yes.
Just say Broad Ripple.
In part of Midtown. Broad Ripple, part of Midtown.
If you just say Broad Ripple,
It's not that hard.
people know what you mean.
You're the one that complicates it.
No.
Yeah.
Broad Ripple, Ferguson Avenue, right on the canal.
Okay. Nose scab guy. Listen to the guy with nose scabs about
It is.
what it's going to be, what
It
part of
isn't
town.
much, is it?
Order.lumalnatis.com. We're excited to see all of you there. We'll come back. More food to eat. We've got our Hoagies and Hops here of the
Love
week.
that.
And we'll talk Colts. Something that is extremely annoying about the discourse when it comes to the Colts and the draft. I'll tell you what that is when we return. It's Corey and
seem
Schultz.
edgy today.
ISC Sports Network. You're making me that way.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. Oh! Here's the finish. You get a layup, take it, and an and one. Fly ball. Out of here.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Corey and Schultz rolling along here on the ISC Sports Network. Thanks to our friends at Bailey and Wood Financial Group, 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com.
Mike is pleased because Jalen Ramsey now a Miami Dolphin, apparently.
Yeah. Big offseason. Well, not technically yet, right, Jake? We're in the legal tampering period, so I don't know if you could say that any of those things have been finalized, but Mike's Dolphins doing big things. So is his Bailey and Wood team, 5-star customer service. I've lost track of how many Indiana branch locations. I think they just opened up 3 more. But BAWFG.com, chances are there's a branch near you, whether you're in Midtown, whether you're north side, south
And
side,
listen,
anywhere in Indiana.
If there's a branch
you'll
near
find
you
one.
for Bailey and Wood, you're going to be pleased about it because of the work that they do and commitment towards giving back to the communities in which they have branches. They do it all over Indiana, but they are dedicated towards not only helping out everybody and keeping their home or getting a new home when it comes to the best in interest rates, but also giving back to the community locally, which is great.
So last week, the Panthers traded up to 1, and everyone collectively started losing their minds about what was going to happen. You tell me, Jake. I was under the assumption that if the Colts are going to stay at 4, 2 quarterbacks are going to be off the board. So the Panthers trading to 1 really doesn't change anything for me.
I would agree with
Because
that.
I was assuming that was going to happen. Somebody was going to trade up and get that pick, and it probably wasn't going to be the Colts. What I worry about now, though, is that let's say they really like Stroud and they really like Young, and they don't particularly like Richardson or Levis. is this going to be another opportunity for Ballard to look at the draft board and say, let's wait. Let's kick the can down the road a little bit more here. Let's get Mariota in here.
I think what happened, Derek, is the Colts looked at after analyzing the quarterbacks at the combine, and I know that the combine isn't the end all be all, but I think the Colts looked at it and decided that the gap from 1 to 4 in quarterbacks was not worth enough.
Yeah.
To go out. You know what? It's kind of like this year in the NCAA tournament. It's wonderful that Purdue's number 1 seed. Don't get me wrong. But if there's a year to be a 1 seed, this tournament is so wide open you can win it from anywhere, right?
Yeah, the difference between Purdue and Duke is like this.
Correct.
Right?
And I think the difference between quarterbacks in this draft, if there's a year to be taking a quarterback number 1, I don't know that this is necessarily the year. Sure, there are 3 of them that might be franchise quarterbacks. We don't know that. Mm-hmm. But I think the Colts looked at it and said, you know what? Given all factors, what we would have to give up to move up a spot or 2 in the draft is a greater price tag than the price tag difference between the 4th quarterback and the 1st quarterback. Now, to me, if Arizona sits at number 3, that's a big if. But if Arizona sits at number 3, then the Colts are going to get the 3rd pick, the 3rd quarterback's choice. If Arizona trades out and lets, insert name of team,
Raiders,
the Raiders, the Jets, whatever, move up into the 3, okay, then the Colts say, okay, so instead of our choice between Richardson and Levis, we are now stuck with Richardson or Levis. Fine. The Colts may have looked at it and said, you know what? We like each of these guys equally. So we're going to be happy with whatever we get at 4, and we are going to be more pleased with the fact that we are not giving up assets to have to get them. That's simple, right?
I wonder if – I say a lot of things on this show where I feel like I have to qualify it with, I don't know this, I just think this.
I think most people just assume that about you.
I don't know this. No one told me this. I just think this. We know that Jim Irsay has done a good job of delegating, right? He lets his decision makers, he trusts them to make decisions. You tell me if you agree here. I can't imagine them not taking a quarterback in this draft.
I would agree with that. I think Jim Irsay really likes Will Levis.
I think Irsay is probably leaving it up to Ballard which guy he wants to take, even if Irsay really likes Levis. But I would think that they're sitting at the table, and he's looking at Chris saying, hey, man, we're not doing this vet garbage anymore. I don't care who you pick. Take somebody. We'll develop them. Just you got to pick somebody. Because that's what I would say.
Right.
I mean, all these people are getting in fights on Twitter about, well, the Colts should just trade back. If they don't like anybody, there's no franchise quarterback. We don't know that. And everyone's so afraid of striking out. If you need to hit a home run, Jake, you have to swing at some point. You can't just take walks. You have to swing the bat. Okay, you're going to make some snarky joke. I see that twinkle in your eye when you're like, oh, I see an opening to, make a short joke or whatever. So hit me with it. What is it?
How many hits did you get in Little League?
Okay, yeah, great. So some people may know
Did you swing the bat?
Yes. And relax, okay? I know you're really excited about this.
How many hits?
Some people may know. I'm about to tell you. Can I talk?
Yeah, sure.
Some people may know that I had some struggles I was an excellent glove. I was an excellent defensive player in Little League and a great team leader and third base coach. I was not great with the bat.
What position were you?
Left field.
In Little League?
Yeah.
And you were put there for your glove?
Yes. Great defensive glove. We didn't really do defensive wins saved, but I would have been way up there.
How many kids were pulling the ball?
Strangely, a lot in Trumbull Little League. That's why they had me over there. It was kind of a hot place to be. Got a lot of line drives.
So you're a noted defensive player in left field like Kyle Schwarber.
No, I mean, I was thinking more like Barry Bonds or something like that.
Okay.
Just not with the bat.
Okay.
So Bonds just the Omar Vizquel of left field.
How was your arm?
Plus, I'd say. I had a plus arm.
What does that mean?
Means better than average. Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Not a lot of daisies out there in left field at the end of the year, huh?
Dandelions. We had a big dandelion problem at Randall Field in Trumbull. Yeah.
Not after you were out there.
Well, I was paying attention to the game. So if you're asking if I was picking dandelions, I'm out there to win. So that's not what I was doing while I was playing Little
What
League.
team were you on?
I was on the Tigers that year and the Cleveland Indians. Well, yeah. I mean, it was the 90s. So
The non-PC Trumbull,
yes.
Connecticut Little League. Okay, anyway, as you were saying?
what were we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, we were talking about Bauer taking a swing before you got all excited about me not getting a hit. You got to swing. You know, you have to swing the bat at some point.
I can't imagine, Derek. I cannot imagine that the Colts. I'm with you 100% on this. Here's the thing: people are going to say that if the Colts don't draft a quarterback and they kick the can down the road, that people are going to say, "I'm done. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going to go through it again."
Oh yeah, no, I don't think that's hyperbole.
You're lying. You'll still go to the games.
Well,
You'll still renew
you'll
your
still
season
be
tickets.
complaining, but I still think people will be very angry.
I
we would agree
understand,
with
but
that.
they'll still go, right? It's your team.
Yeah.
It's your team.
My problem is, Jake, is that, and the fans are victims of this. Well, victims of this. They subscribe to this too. It's very hard in a town where Peyton Manning magically fell into your lap, where Andrew Luck magically fell into your lap.
I said this earlier. I think they think
to
that
approach a quarterback,
Right.
to approach finding a quarterback. And people are like, there's no Mahomes in this draft. No one thought Mahomes was Mahomes in that draft.
right.
No one. I mean, yeah, they traded. The Chiefs traded up to get him. That was a huge risk. People had no idea Patrick Mahomes was going to be some like generational quarterback, the guy from Texas Tech. So, you know, these people that are saying, well, Stroud's definitely not a franchise quarterback and Bryce Young's definitely I don't know that. All four of these guys might stink on ice. I have no idea. But you can't definitively say that they're going to be any good.
What does stink on ice mean?
I don't know. It's just sad.
Like they stink so bad that even on ice it smells?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair
I don't know where that comes from.
Did you watch the Oscars?
A little bit.
Did you see the
if,
David
If you're
Byrne
married,
part?
you watched a little bit of the Oscars.
Did you see David Byrne with the hands? Big hands.
Is that the Talking Heads guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was there.
No.
Did you see that Data from the Goonies won an Oscar?
I did, yeah. Good for him. What a
was
great
cool.
story. A beautiful speech, too.
It was great.
Yeah, about his family and coming to America and fulfilling the American dream. Really cool.
Brendan Fraser, born in Indianapolis, won an Oscar.
You tell me if I'm like completely ignorant. I did not know until like 48 hours ago that Brendan Fraser was born. He moved all around, right?
You're not.
I thought he was
because
Canadian.
When I saw The Whale, which was fantastic, and he absolutely deserved to win that Oscar. When I saw The Whale, I went home and looked him up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know that he was born in Indianapolis? He moved apparently from here. His family moved when he was like
6 months old
14
or something.
months old or something. Yeah, but he was born at Community East, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny that he won because I don't know if you saw any of those Mummy movies from like years ago. I thought he was a terrible actor in like all of those. I mean, those are kind of like kitschy films or whatever, right? Where it's kind of like he's playing sort of this big dork. So maybe he was hamming it up.
He was in Encino Man.
I thought he was awful.
Now, there was a uncle, I hope I'm saying it right, Uncle Remus, I think, from Song of the South, Zippity Doodah.
Yeah.
He was from Tech High School, which I did not realize. He was given an honorary Oscar in 1948, but was and it was posthumous, I believe. But during the award ceremonies for that movie, he was not able to attend the majority of them because it was during segregation and the award ceremonies were in Atlanta and he wasn't allowed to go.
Wow.
So they gave him an honorary Oscar, and he was born in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Steve McQueen was nominated in 1967. Somebody pointed out to me, he wasn't born in Indy, he was born in Beech Grove.
Give me a break. Yeah. Give me a break, guys.
They're different municipalities.
Yeah, give me a
Derek.
break.
Do you watch
Okay.
Live PD?
Give me a break.
On patrol?
Yeah.
Different
me a break.
municipality.
Beech Grove is Indianapolis. Yeah. Now you could say Beech Grove and like I'm from Beech Grove and people are like, okay, I know where that is, but like Beech Grove is Indy.
It's like,
I mean, don't you think, right?
Well, it's
like
kind of
Carmel's not Indy.
It's like left field.
But Beech Grove is Indy.
It's like the left fielder. Technically on the team, kind of different.
Okay. Well, great glove plus arm. A lot of teams could have used me in Little League, so it's
I'm
not that
sure.
big. Beech Grove is Indy, like Broad Ripple is Midtown. Yeah, I agree.
No,
I agree.
no.
Yep, it's a neighborhood in Indianapolis, basically.
Yeah, but it has its own share.
It definitely has its own
has its own
character.
Walmart.
Yeah,
I will say it is factually. I did not realize this. It is governmentally completely separate from Indianapolis.
yeah, but it's Indy. Yeah, but it's Indy though.
Okay.
Yeah, is it Marion County?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's Indy then. Marion County's Indy. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's just how it works. I don't make the rules. Let's get to our Hoagies and Hops hoagie and hero of the
Now
week.
that is in Indy.
Sorry, I already ate like half of this sandwich. I was hungry.
I guess.
This is the Keystone. It is London broil, so they're roast beef, but it's like better roast beef, more delicious roast beef. Horsey mayo, which I love on this. Provolone, lettuce, tomato, onion, the shaved onion, delicious. And on the bread from South Jersey, one of my favorite sandwiches that they do here, the Keystone. 42nd and Boulevard in Midtown. Also catering, hoagiesandhops.com. They have hot dogs, they have cheesesteaks, they have cold sandwiches, anything and everything. And right next door, when you're getting a sandwich, be sure to stop by and get yourself a chili water brew.
Yeah.
Part of the Philiopolis umbrella.
For a small fee, Derek will come and spill it all over your dining room
So
table.
I'm not going to spill anything. So Joey, who works at Hoagies and Hops,
the dog?
long-haired dude in the counter. Well, they got a couple of long-haired guys, but he has glasses too.
Okay.
Joey designed this can. See the Diablo on the can there?
Right.
Isn't that cool? He's an artiste, and he designed the can for chili water. This is their mango habanero.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to try it.
Crack it.
I've never had this one. Never.
Well, let's see how this tastes once it's on the desk.
I love that
Are you gonna
sound,
spill
isn't
it
it?
again? Derek taking a taste.
Oh, that's good. You're an IPA guy, right?
I am.
Yeah,
I like
you're
them
going to
all.
like this.
I like them all.
It's sweet.
I got news for you, though, Derek. The odds of me taking a swig off that can after you just
This is actually,
tongued it,
I'm going to tell you,
not high.
I've been described this way, just like this beer. Sweet with a little bit of heat. Like sweet, but can get a little bit spicy. Like behind the scenes. Like a little bit muted, like you don't know. And then temperature's getting hot in here. Like that's this, the mango habanero here.
Derek says,
So there are girls that have described me as that.
zero chance.
100%.
Zero chance.
Yeah. You have your own can.
Where?
Right here. You have your own beer. We have two beers. Don't touch mine. Isn't that cool with the design on there?
Yeah. Hold on.
And look, you even got the mangoes sliced up there in the background. You got the fire, and you got El Diablo right there. Really good.
What level heat we talking here?
Oh, no, I mean, just enough to notice. Like, it kind of stays on your tongue a little bit. Don't you
Very
think?
good. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be like this, what is it, sommelier of beer here? Where
I would say that's
yes,
more-
this has a...
It's got a good hop to it.
yeah, it's good.
It's an
I like
IPA,
it.
yeah.
I'm not
American
usually
IPA.
an IPA guy, but this is good. So Chili Water Brewing, the tap room, also there, 42nd and Boulevard. So grab a Sando, grab a nice cold beer, meet a buddy there, meet a friend, watch the games.
Nobody says Sando.
They've got TV screens in there. Christina just put up a post on Instagram this week that said Sando. At Hoagies and Hops.
I'm looking to see what Philly
On
teams
Insta.
are in the tournament.
Well, you got Penn State in there. They worked their way up to a 10 seed. Congratulations to the Knits for getting all the way to
Hey,
the
Michael
final.
Shrewsbury can coach, man.
Yeah. But all these
Georgetown
sandwiches-
apparently putting
all these
together a
beers,
multi-million-dollar deal for him. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But you heard it here first. Notre Dame also.
I know I'm supposed to wait to eat, but I just can't wait.
I'm looking for more Philly-type schools. Obviously, Villanova's not in it, right?
While Jake does that, we'll come back with more features and more to get to, more delicious food to eat here in studio. I'm just like, I'm in heaven right now.
Where's Farley Dickinson?
Basketball, food,
we know?
everything. Oh, wait, Vince is rapping.
At Bailey & Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me? Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable. Touchdown. Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby. Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Derek, news in college basketball, coaching news. Chris Beard now headed to Ole Miss. What are you doing?
Continue. You said news, so keep going. I'm chewing.
You want to take a swiggy?
Sorry, I put that whole Keystone down my gullet because it was just too good. I couldn't.
Damon
wait.
Stoudemire, Boston Celtics assistant, is leaving that position to become the head basketball coach at Georgia Tech.
Wow.
I didn't realize Josh Pastner was out. Did you?
Hold up. Damon Stoudemire went to like Arizona or something.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
What would his type? He just wants to be a head coach. It's weird to me because Damon Stoudemire is like part of that group of point guards like Kenny Anderson
I
or
assume
somebody
it's
like
the same
that.
Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah, where you're like,
Well,
oh,
Stephon
okay.
Marbury,
Yeah,
Kenny Anderson,
yeah, like
like
those
all those-
guys. Mark Price, right?
Mark Price,
Georgia Tech.
Travis Best.
Yep. So
ES-
it's just weird to hear another name from the '90s that has, at least not that I know of, any association to Georgia Tech taking
This
the job.
from Adrian Wojnarowski, which we know is
all-knowing.
That's right. ESPN is reporting Boston Celtics assistant Damon Stoudemire is finalizing a deal to become Georgia Tech's head coach. Stoudemire has informed the Celtics that he's accepting the job and making the leap to the ACC.
Coolest thing about Stoudemire was that he had the Mighty Mouse tattoo.
He did.
I'm pretty sure he was on the Arizona team that lost to Steve Nash's Santa Clara team in the 215 game, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Who was the other? Hold on. Was it Khalil Reeves?
Khalid Reeves.
Khalid
Reeves.
Reeves. He was a good player.
Was a good player on Arizona.
Damon Stoudemire, fun trivia. This is the only, literally, Derek, the only skill set that I have. Name for me the NBA expansion teams from 1988 to current, and I can tell you the first ever draft pick in history.
Miami Heat.
Ronnie Cycli.
Charlotte Hornets.
This one I get confused. I believe it's Rex Chapman, might be J.R. Reed. It's
No,
one
I
of
think
those
it
two.
is Rex Chapman. I think
Okay.
J.R. Reed was the next year.
Okay.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Pooh Richardson.
Orlando Magic.
Nick Anderson.
Wow. Vancouver Grizzlies.
Bryant Big Country Reeves.
Yep, Big Country. And Toronto.
Damon
Yeah,
Stoudemire.
Stoudemire. Nice
One
work.
of the skills-
Did I miss one of the expansions? It was
I don't
four
think
and
so.
2, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah, okay.
Did you say
I
Timberwolves?
said Minnesota, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, pretty good.
Anyway, there's your news of the day.
It's so funny that, and now if I was like, hey, name. Well, I guess
Name last year's lottery. No
the Grizzlies
clue.
are pretty good. Yeah, I was gonna say like I was gonna try to pick one of those teams who isn't really relevant, but I guess all those teams are pretty relevant right now. Like if you were to ask me to name like the starting 5 for the Magic, I couldn't do it. But I could tell you like where Nick Anderson went to school and how many years he played there probably, and him missing the free throws against Houston in the NBA Finals and all of that.
Boy, I forgot about the missed free throws.
Yeah.
Right?
That was rough. Getting back to kind of the NFL topic now, we're moving into free agency and what the Colts are going to do. It feels like, Jake, not that we're wasting time on it, but I really wish the draft just came right away and then we could do free agency, because I just feel it feels disjointed, doesn't it? Like to me, the big thing is the Colts and the quarterback, and so all this free agency stuff almost is like.
But what the
Off to
NFL
the
has
side.
done that is brilliant is the NFL has kept itself in conversation year-round.
Yeah, you're right.
Selection Sunday? No, let's not talk Selection Sunday. Let's talk NFL free agency, because the clock, it starts at noon the day after Selection Sunday, and then let's go right into the draft, and then OTAs and minicamp, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, it's constant. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers stuff, it just
That guy.
it keeps happening.
Would you want
over and
Aaron
over.
Rodgers at this point?
If you're the Jets and you're that desperate, then yeah, I would, just because I'm the Jets. But it's like the Brett Favre situation all over again. Remember, people probably don't remember this. He originally went to
New York, the Jets.
the Jets, and then had the Jen Sturger situation with the cell phone pictures and all that,
yeah.
and it was a complete disaster. I want to say they went maybe 7-9 with him, and then he had the great year in Minnesota where they should have gone to the Super Bowl, but he threw that interception and Paul Allen melted down on the air in overtime, and they lost to the Saints. But that Jets year
How
was
did
a
he melt
disaster.
down?
No, no! I think he just started screaming "no" if I remember it in the mic.
Yeah.
It was bad. A little too emotionally invested. Great guy. Remember, we had him on the show, and he's got a great voice.
Was he cool? I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah, super. Could not have been a nicer guy, but a little too Bob Lamey for my taste. But some people like that. Some people like the guy that is calling the game to be all in, just
Right.
like you. But I personally, it's not my taste.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Not my taste right there. But I'm just glad that we get like 6 more months of arguing with at least 2 more months, and then after they draft somebody, more months of arguing with people. But this idea that, well, Ballard's got to be patient. He's got to follow his process. We're entering year 7, guys.
I get
at
it.
some point, you're going to have to get this right.
Right.
So, I don't know if it's not Levis or Richardson, because I'm assuming it's Stroud and Young 1-2. Aren't you?
I think that's
order?
a fair assumption.
I think it's Stroud and Young 1-2. So if it's not going to be Richardson or Levis, I just don't know what you do. Hendon Hooker in the second round? I mean,
the problem is, though, Derek,
is that what the solution is?
Here's my thought on Hendon Hooker with Tennessee in the second round. I recall, and I know you do too because you were following the Knicks at the time, and I was following the Knicks at the time, when LeBron James was getting ready to come up, he had like a year and a half left on his rookie contract with the with the Cavs. And everyone in the NBA, like 19 months out, people are like, they're actually, what they're doing is they're freeing up a bunch of cap space so they can make a push for LeBron James when he becomes a free agent. And every team in the league thought they were the only one doing that. And then before you know it, you realize, the Clippers, the Knicks, the Bulls, the Cavs, the Heat, they're all doing it, right? I feel like Hendon Hooker in the second round, like Colts fans just have this assumption of like, just load up on like stuff in the first round, and then in the second round, just get that Hendon Hooker from Tennessee. Except for that, like every team out there is apparently thinking the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, and the other thing is that, look, the guy's 25. He's 25 years old. That's an old prospect. If we're to assume the usual learning curve for NFL quarterbacks is probably 2 to 3 years, you're talking about a guy being in his late 20s.
Well, especially when you consider, Trevor Lawrence is 21.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Patrick Mahomes is 26.
Hendon Hooker might end up being a terrific player. I have no idea, but like when I'm thinking about the older prospects, I'm thinking about guys like, Whedon is an extreme example, but Whedon was 27, right? Or 28?
That's right.
I don't know if I want that. That's not much of a backup. And coming off an injury, I know it's just a knee, and who cares? At this point in 2023, knees aren't that big of a deal. But, to me, that's not – that's again, Jake, it's just getting cute. Veteran quarterback washout, day 2, day 3 pick. That's getting cute.
What about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, and that's the other one that's still on the radar.
$200 million, though, right?
Well, it's just – you don't worry about Lamar skill-wise. There are some people that don't like Lamar Jackson at all, and I'm not one of those people. What I worry about with him is if I'm going to guarantee that amount of money, I need to know that you're going to play.
Right.
I need to know you're going to be available. And if you're going to play 10 games, that's not going to be worth it for me.
The thing to me about Lamar Jackson that would give me pause, I think he's a wonderful player, and I think he's a better quarterback in terms of passing the football than people give him credit. But I think a lot of defending the Ravens' offense is based on him keeping defenses honest because of his ability to tuck the ball and run. And if that goes away, then I think he's still a good quarterback, but he's no longer the elite weapon that he had been.
And you got to pay him and give up the draft capital. So it's kind of it hits you both ways. It's not just giving up like what Carolina did, just giving up the draft picks. It's also having to pay him as well. You're not going to get Lamar on a rookie deal and be able to build a great roster around him.
By the way, it's time for our Love That Play, brought to you by the good guys at Love Heating and Air. Love Heating and Air has been around for over 100 years in Central Indiana. Love-HVAC.com is their website. At Love Heat Indy is their Twitter account. And their phone number is 317-353-2141. That's 317-353-2141. Love Heating and Air. I absolutely love, pardon the pun, the work that they do because they took care of my parents, for example. I know so many people have had Love Heating and Air come out, but the great thing about them is honesty, integrity in the way they work, belief in what they're putting in your home, and then a commitment to making sure that it still is running because that's why they have a 24-hour on-call maintenance. They are the best when it comes to your heating and cooling, and they bring us each and every week our favorite play of the weekend. Derek, your nominee is?
It's not really a play. It's more of an action. Remember, Mike Davis was at Texas Southern. No one had heard of Texas Southern, and he took him to a couple of NCAA tournaments, and then he left and started coaching his son, Antoine Davis, at Detroit Mercy. Texas Southern's back in the dance as a 20-loss team. Texas Southern finished 8th in the SWAC this year. 8th. They were the 8th best team in one of America's weakest conferences and ran off 3 straight victories to get their win total to they won 11 games in the regular season to get their win total to 14. They are the team with the most losses ever for an NCAA bid at 20. But part of that, Jake, is they always play a ridiculous non-league schedule. Remember when they beat Michigan State one year?
Yeah.
This year they played Kansas, Houston, Auburn, Texas Tech. Oral Roberts was even on their schedule. I mean, they play a loaded schedule, so
Now, are they the
give them
Tigers?
some credit. Tigers,
Now,
yep.
what's the hand slogan mean?
It means go Tigers, Tiger Paw.
Does this mean 1-1-3?
No,
3
it's
and 1?
Tiger Paw. Tigers have 4 like this, and they swat at your face with it, with their not talons, claws.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. See the tiger? He's doing it too.
He's got 3 there. And then
Yeah,
one.
no, and he's got a thumb.
He's flipping you off.
He's got a thumb.
I think
Yeah,
he's flipping you off.
that's what he's telling you. You don't like it? 8 seed, 20 losses? Go bleep yourself.
I don't think that's right.
They're all doing the Tiger Paw. I'm just telling you what it is, Jake. I am immersed in Texas Southern fandom.
Okay, true or false? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's an HBCU.
I think that's false. Wait, most SWAC schools are HBCUs, aren't they? Like Prairie View?
I don't know. It's true or false.
What's the MEAC is all HBCUs, right? Howard, like teams like that. Alabama A&M, were they a SWAC team? Where
White,
Robert
Alabama
Mathis?
A&M?
Robert Mathis, is that a SWAC team, Alabama A&M, or are they a MEAC team?
I don't know.
I get those two leagues confused.
Okay. Well,
Grambling.
if one is predominantly
Grambling's
HBCU,
FCS, I think, right?
So true or false, Texas Southern University is
Let me
an
look it up.
HBCU.
I know everything that there is to know about Texas Southern except their actual distinction
What
as
town's
a
it in?
university. It's in Armadillo, Texas. Yeah.
The only thing in Armadillo, Texas is the Shell station, right? I'm telling you, it is an HBCU.
I thought that was a Texaco.
I think it's in.
Yeah, it's
it in Galveston?
and it's not private, it's public. So you'd said that it was private
I've never
earlier,
said
I
it was
think.
private.
Public HBCU. So
I didn't say.
have to correct some errors here on Texas Southern.
Where's it located?
Public HBCU. Outside of Armadillo in a city called Houston, Texas.
Okay.
It's where Texas Southern is, yeah. So,
Okay.
like I said, I know everything about the university. Some details I was a little bit hazy on because distinctions have changed over the years
It's Amarillo, Texas, by the way.
for TSU. I'm pretty sure it's named after the animal. It's Armadillo, Texas.
There's no such thing as an Armadillo, Texas. There's Amarillo, Texas. It's in West Texas.
I'm like
It's
99.
near Laredo.
I'm like 99% sure that there is a Armadillo, Texas, like after an armadillo that it's native to, the state that it's native to.
Is an armadillo a rodent or a marsupial?
I don't know. Are we still going to do a show, or are you giving up on the show today?
I'm just
Because we can end the show. We're not.
See-
I mean, we got to get to Chateau Kitchens Biter Bowl. We've got to do another commercial break, but we're not like outside of that. If you want to leave, then we can.
Well, we need to do our
Or I can finish
Malnati's
the
Look
show.
Who's Cooking, and I can tell you it's not this show, right?
Oh God, we forgot, and we forgot our hero of the week, didn't we? We didn't actually name him. We just ate the food.
Do you folks ever wonder where this show would be without me? I am literally the clerical secretary of this program.
We actually
I keep track of
we
the
didn't do either of
segments.
those things,
I
did
keep
we?
track of the sponsors. I keep it on
Well,
track.
I'm
in
blaming
general.
Vince. This is Vince's fault. Vince should have come in here and told us, "Hey, idiots, you forgot to pick your people." Hoagies and Hops hero of the week. Let's get that one first. We both went to the memorial service. It was lovely last week on Wednesday at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for our friend David Benner, who I know you were closer with. I mean, I say friend. I like to think that he thought of me that way. But anyway,
He did.
just a wonderful man and a guy that, Jake, you know people like this that have accomplished great things and are in great standing, but are completely unimpressed with themselves.
Totally.
Like, I feel like he loved his job. He loved the Pacers. I think he loved everything that kind of came with it, but he was never like an ego guy or, hey, look at me. Look what I get to do. I'm friends. I got Reggie Miller on my cell phone. But this picture, I went back and looked after you had texted me about his passing, and it's sad. It's sad that, on this
right.
was taken right after the radio show ended, and so 3 years ago, barely. And now 2 of the people in that photo are no longer with us. So it's sad. And Bill, who's on the far left there, who's actually, I didn't know this. I didn't know there was that much of an age gap. 7 years. His senior eulogized his brother, which he did a wonderful job.
He
And
did.
I can't think of something more difficult than that, than eulogizing your younger brother.
I thought his college friend, I believe his name is Jeff. I'd never met the gentleman. I thought he did a really good job at the David Benner Memorial Service because, a lot of people were there to talk about David in terms of his work, understandably and rightly so. But it was, I thought, a really nice job. First off, most of the people that are speaking are people that have to speak at a lot of things. So when you get somebody who's not used to speaking that gets up there and did a wonderful job, was poignant, shared good insight about David as a friend and his loyalty from a friend standpoint. And I think people that professionally knew him could relate to that because that's how he treated coworkers as well.
And then Reggie was the capper on the day. Reggie Miller got up, and it was great that he flew out. I mean, I knew that he would, but flew out and gave a really nice speech about David Bender. So rest in peace to really one of the greats with that franchise. And it's sad, in the last 5 years, we've, Slick Leonard and starting to get to that age range where some of the guys that are still connected to the old Coliseum days for the Pacers, unfortunately, we're starting to lose. Yeah,
you're right.
So a sad thing. On a happier note, Lou Malnati's Who's Cooking, I gave it to David Jenkins. I don't know if Purdue beats Rutger without David Jenkins. I mean, he was huge in that game, and he's had a really quiet season.
I thought Trey Kaufman-Renn made big plays for them.
He did, yeah. He had great minutes too, but Jenkins, for the tournament, averaged almost 10 points a game. He was a 3-point-per-game scorer during the year, and that was his MO when he transferred. He's a 3-time transfer, but when he was at Utah and UNLV, and there was somewhere else that he went, another small school, he was like a 15, 16, 17-point guy.
I've always wondered this. If you go, let's say you transfer 3 times. Let's say you have 110 accumulated credit hours, and then you transfer to Purdue.
South Dakota State, that was the other one, yeah.
And you take your last 15 hours. Now you have 125 college credit hours. Do you graduate from Purdue? Or does a certain percentage of them have to be accumulated and acquired at Purdue University?
I have no idea. I think they take what does translate and converts it into Purdue credits, right? And then you graduate with a diploma from Purdue, I would think. But he might be a graduate student. He might have already graduated one of those other schools and then and is pursuing a graduate degree at Purdue. But I just love Purdue is so good at this, Jake. They just get these guys who just put their ego aside and they just become these team guys.
You're right.
And David Jenkins he's a team guy. He doesn't care.
They're going to need Jenkins and Brandon Newman both to play well in the tournament.
And they're going to have to get more out of Smith and Lawyer. Smith and Lawyer are going to have to be the players that they were in December and January.
Yeah.
That's
before people knew who they were.
Yeah, that's the bottom line.
That's the challenge.
You got to get that too. But it takes all of it, Jake, and it takes luck. You got to get lucky. Purdue was lucky in Chicago to get the 9, 10, and 13.
Derek, Indiana was probably lucky in the 0-2 tournament when they went to the Final Four. People forget. USC didn't get bounced in the opening round by UNC Wilmington. Who knows, right? Sam Clancy.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? We didn't mention this. Indiana played Kent State. Not only did they play Kent State beforehand, they played Kent State in a 4-13 game when I was a senior in high school. Isn't that weird? And now they're in a 4-13 and got beat.
Yeah.
And that was the end of a long line of early tournament exits. They got blown out by Pepperdine. They got rocked by Chauncey Billups in Colorado. They got punted by St. John's.
Missouri a couple times.
Yeah, Missouri beat them in an 8-9 game. I mean, Indiana was losing in the first round like every year in those late night years and then early Davis. And then the next year in 2002, they play Kent State again and punch their ticket to the Final Four in Atlanta. So it's weird. It's weird that Indiana and Kent State will be meeting in the NCAA tournament 3 different times.
You're right. Yeah.
That probably doesn't happen very often.
Eventually it happens, though. I mean, teams get in enough, you're going to start
I guess, yeah. But, 4-13, it's a little bit eerie, I think.
It'd be weird is if they were playing on March 14th, and then the 4-13 would be on 3-14.
Okay. Chateau Kitchen's Biter Bull Bleep, and we will wrap up the show next. Sorry, we just forgot about all the – we were eating all the delicious food, and we just forgot to actually, pick our award winners.
Thank goodness I showed up.
It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
At Bailey & Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Nice snap.
Mortgages and a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Back for a final time here on Query and Schultz. Thanks to our friends at Bailey and Wood Financial Group for being our presenting sponsor, as they always are. BAWFG.com, 855-350-HOME, and all of our great sponsors. You see the shirts that are on the desk. We'll do a complete rundown of everybody that has supported the show. And thanks to you. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Maybe you're listening to the podcast. Maybe you're just hopping in like my co-host rudely has here.
What are you talking about?
From a bathroom break. But we appreciate you supporting this this great show, the Rocket Ship, as some of you call it. I didn't even give it that name. I don't even know where that name came from. Somebody just
called it a rocket ship before we're even.
I don't remember doing that.
Launchpad was.
I don't remember doing that. I think somebody just said that it was taking off like a rocket ship. It was obvious to everybody, so they started calling it that, which I appreciate. That means a lot to me. Our friends at Chateau Kitchens, it means a lot to me that they're basically like rebuilding my entire house. They're working on our basement right now as we speak. They have framed everything in. We got, I think, HVAC guys over today to check out that, and then electricians and plumbers and tradesmen of all kinds you can come over, hang out in my basement, my man cave.
When's it done?
Oh, I don't know.
Do I need to get you a basement?
Couple of weeks, probably.
Should I get you a basement warming gift?
You can, if you want to.
I can actually just recycle the birthday gift I got for you that I couldn't give you at your birthday party.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm sorry that your feelings are so hurt. Great thing about Chateau is that they come in.
People think that's weird?
They do the work. It's great work, and it happens in a timely manner. So they took care of the bathroom in, I think it was 4 weeks maybe. The kitchen was, I'm trying to remember because that was back in 2018, 5-6 weeks, something like that. And they clean up after themselves, and they just do great work. They guarantee the work, and they do a great job. Steven, the owner, is a terrific guy. Ryan, our project manager, awesome dude. Megan, our designer, really, really gifted and talented and great at what she does.
Didn't they make your bathroom with 2 shower heads?
It did, yeah. ChateauKitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens on Instagram.
So when you go in the
and
shower,
Twitter.
do you have the designated which one is your shower head?
No, you just pick whatever you feel like. It's a great way to start your day. Just I don't know which I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick what I feel like.
Okay.
If you're new to Bite or Bold Bleep, here's what we do. I give a statement. Jake and I go back and forth whether we bite or it's Bold Bleep. You ready for statement 1?
Sure.
Statement numero uno. A non-number 1 seed is going to win the NCAA championship. Bite or Bold Bleep?
I'll say buy it just based on the percentage odds. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd rather have 64 out of the field than 4.
You would definitely, but this is the kind of year where you would definitely take the field, wouldn't you? Over the 4 ones?
I think Alabama's really good.
Yeah.
But they're young, right?
Kansas is the one to me that is the most likely to win it.
But Kansas is the one that, when Kansas loses, man, they're not even in the ballpark.
Yeah. And historically speaking, Kansas is either lost in the second round or they've gone to the championship
Correct.
game.
That's
Doesn't
correct.
it feel that way?
That's correct.
Like Kansas
I think
never
Kansas
just kind of
has
halfway
a real
does it.
trick with Arkansas in round 2.
You know what? I don't know anything about Arkansas. My college basketball viewing, just with my son and everything else I have going on in my life.
The smallest state west of the Mississippi.
Is it really?
In the contiguous United States,
Wow.
yes.
It's a great. I would really have had to think about that for a while.
Do you know
smaller than Iowa?
Yes.
Wow.
Do you know the largest state? What is the largest state east of the Mississippi?
Maine.
No.
New York.
No.
Hit me with it.
Keep going.
Mississippi.
No.
Alabama. Georgia.
No.
Michigan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The UP.
The peninsula. Yeah. I knew it was going to be something you didn't expect. Statement 2, Colts won't draft a quarterback at number 4. Bite or Bold Bleep?
It's Bull Schultz. They have to.
Yeah. I can't imagine that they won't.
Did you say the city would burn?
I don't know if I said that. Was it that graphic? Statement 3, the NCAA tournament field should expand. Don't we need our Rutger?
0.
We need our Rutger.
None. This is the
Expand.
Should Rutgers have gotten in over North Carolina State? Yes, they should have. No question about it. But that's the beauty of this
need
Monday.
Vanderbilt.
It's the day when we debate it. It's the day we discuss it. No.
I need Clemson.
Nope.
Give me my Vandy. Give me my Clemson. It's going
You
to
got
ruin my experience.
4 months to prove yourself.
It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Thank God Boeheim's gone, so we don't have to talk about this nonsense anymore, hopefully. Thanks to our great sponsors, Lou Malnati's. Our friends that's a timer for us to wrap the show. Lou Malnati's, Bailey and Wood Financial Group, Hoagies and Hops, Chateau Kitchens. Why do I feel like I'm missing a big one? Love Heating and Cooling. Chili Water Brewing. Vince, Rake, Jordan, you guys. Thank you. Bye. See you next time. Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.